Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock and let's figure out what is happening and what we can expect moving into next week. Now, before we start the video, I want to quickly ask, would you like to see me start making the exact same video, but for NVIDIA as well as Tesla? So it'll be 2 videos a day, NVIDIA and Tesla. If you want to see that, that's something you're interested in, let me know by just simply hitting the like button and I'll just kind of gauge the reception based off that. So if you want to see NVIDIA videos and analysis like this as well on top of Tesla, again, let me know by hitting that like button. But this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't forget to hit the like button, I guess, regardless. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. Just $3 a month or $2.99 a month. You get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, technical analysis, options flow, etc. on Tesla every single day the market is open. So definitely check that out if you are interested, as I'm constantly sharing a lot of updates with our members every single day. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day up about 0.5%, closing at pretty much, we'll just say $200 per share, which unfortunately compared to the market is going to be a little bit of an underperformance, but it is what it is. Now you might be wondering, well, Tesla closed pretty awfully close to $200 per share. Like, I mean, literally just 4 cents off. What's up with that? Well, believe it or not, it's pretty simple. Max pain for today was $200 per share. That's the max pain for options, right? Max pain essentially means, like, I mean, easiest way of thinking about it is just literally the maximum amount of pain for puts and call bars. It really puts them in the max pain where the majority, quote unquote, lose, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, well, that's exactly where we are. If the market makers are able to tag it close to it or at it, they usually will. Obviously, unless the stock is just skyrocketing or just really free falling to, Earth's core, they usually will tag it pretty damn close to these max pains on. Sorry, my mic is just a little bit being weird. Now, the reason I bring this up is, well, that's, interesting enough as it is, but next week's max pain is actually all the way down at $185 per share. Now, this can change based on how, options continues to flow in, let's say early next week, for instance, right? It can change, but as of right now and as it stands pretty much as of close today, 185 is the max pain for next week. Doesn't mean we have to go there. Doesn't mean we will close there, but food for thought, especially considering how ridiculously close we close to the max pain today. $200 per share, literally 4 cents off. It is what it is. I'll just say that it is what it is. Now let's talk about Tesla. What does this mean, right? Moving forward now into next week. Next week, by the way, I want to make it clear, we do have a pretty big day. I did post it over here. I'm trying to find that post. I don't know where I posted it, but somewhere over here, I did post that next week we have a lot of data coming out. Here we go. So we have PPI Tuesday, we have CPI Wednesday, and we have retail sales on Thursday. So we have a lot of data coming out for next week. So, there could be some market volatility just based off of that alone. So we'll see. But looking at Tesla specifically, let's start with the bullish thesis. Let's talk about some potential bullish situations happening here. So first and foremost, on the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour chart, whatever, what you can look at here is going to be potentially an inverted head and shoulders, right? We had this massive fall. I mean, this kind of, it makes this a little wonky, but if you kind of just conveniently remove this one little bar here, we do have a potential inverted head and shoulders here, which is obviously bullish pattern. Now, granted, it's not a very large inverted head and shoulders, but it's enough, right? It's enough where the neckline will be pretty much, in my opinion, somewhere around, well, you'll see closer on the 1-hour chart, but, somewhere around even breaking like 201, you can already start making an argument, but I still personally believe breaking above about 203 to 204 is a little bit safer, in my opinion. But yeah, if we break above those levels, essentially, this bullish pattern should in theory start to play out. And the way you usually measure it is measured from the bottom to close to the top, measured off the breakout, and this should bring us back to somewhere around the 215-ish range, in my opinion, right? If we do play out this pattern, I do believe Tesla can see 215 whenever we break it. If we break it, could be next week, could be the week after, who knows for sure, but I do expect that if this pattern were to be valid and play out, it's typical run-up post breakout, I think close to 215 is not impossible at all, and that's a pretty important level. And the reason I say it's an important level is because if we go back to the 1-hour chart, we've had this 215 area, pretty importantly, it's held some decent support, some decent bounces. Remember when we went sideways here for quite some time, kept bouncing off 215 over and over and over, then we kept getting rejected by 225, and then we ended up going back above, then below, right? Anyway, the point is, this 215 level has held support for several times. If I zoom in over here, I'll even point them out, right? So you have one over here, pretty much one over here, you have one over here, pretty much have one support and resistance here. You can see this candle right here, support, these two right here, and then we broke down below, and then both of these candles, resistance, right? Pretty crucial level, but I would not be surprised to see Tesla come back up to that level. Could be even pretty quick. If this happens to break out pretty damn quickly, even as again, even breaking like 201, you can already start making an argument for. But again, 204 is, in my opinion, safer. And if you're really safe about it, breaking it back above this gap fill, which is about 207, is like even safer. But nonetheless, this would, if this happens pretty early in the week, which it can, maybe on Tuesday even, who knows? But this would bring us pretty much right back up on the 1 hour chart, back into the top of this channel, right? Don't forget, we are still in this massive downward channel, still arguably a bull flag, which we talked about before. I can kind of reiterate it one more time, or handle of the cup and handle pattern. But if we do break above or execute this pattern, this will pretty much bring us almost right into the top of the channel once again, which is pretty much sitting currently, coincidentally enough, at 215. It would have to happen pretty much Monday or Tuesday, though, for this to play out, in my opinion, to get to the top of this channel, at least to coincide with 215. So we'll see if that happens to play out or not, but that is a possibility. If that were to happen from today's close, roughly, it would be about a 7% move. That's pretty damn nice, right? So that's something to consider. That is a very real possibility. Doesn't mean it has to happen. This pattern can completely fall apart. Nothing is guaranteed until you start seeing levels being broken and held. That's very important to understand. Now, moving into zooming in a little bit here on the 1 hour chart, still we have the, of course, stochastic chart, right? Actually had a fake breakdown on the a fake bearish breakdown on the stochastic throughout the day, crossed back to bullish, but it is now, of course, entering some overbought territories. Now there is a bit more room to run, right? This means it has to just revert right here. So if you do enter, or rather if we do play out that pattern and we do move to 215, this will start entering most likely some pretty damn overbought territories, kind of like what we did all the way back here, at which point I would be very surprised if we do not reject that 215, if we do end up running up to there Monday and or Tuesday, right? Could be a combination of the two. So that's kind of what I expect. But again, regardless, we are still technically now in regardless overbought territory. So if we do start getting a flip back to the downside, keep in mind that is a possibility that, we can start some bearish continuation from here as well, especially heading into some pretty volatile data fronts, if you will, coming in Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, PPI, CPI, and I think, what did I say it was? I forgot what the Thursday one was. Retail sales. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing for the bullish side, right? There is some potential bullish situations happening here, right? The daily chart, if we go over there very quickly, the daily chart, again, the MACD is still bearish, still making higher lows now, though, making higher lows. It's a, promising sign, it's a start. I wouldn't say it's bullish, but it's a start, right? You have, of course, the BX trender, also like the MACD, higher lows. It's a start. Again, not bullish, but it's a start. It is a start. That is starting to show that maybe the selling pressure is waning. But again, I want to make things very clear. How do I put this? I don't look at these two data fronts right now, this BX trender and the MACD making higher lows like this, too confidently. Why? Because we are pumping on very low volume. As if yesterday's volume wasn't low enough, today's volume was even lower. On another green day, very, very, very low volume across the board on this massive pump that we're doing. So I'm not too convinced yet, right? And again, the fact that this is happening like this is concerning because, massive fall on elevated volume. And now we're essentially almost, remember how I said a bull flag as you're in that bull flag going down after that massive spike up and with a massive volume, and then the bull flag, you're slowly declining, which Tesla's doing right now on lower volume, which is a good sign overall, but it's a massive bull flag. There's still more room to the downside in that bull flag for Tesla, for instance, if we do move down even further. Same thing is here, right? Massive move down in the market, right? And then now, of course, we're pretty much making a bear flag on lower and, declining even volume. Concerning. I'm not gonna lie, concerning. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if the market does have a bit of a dip. I don't think we'll go lower. I as of right now, I personally don't think the market and Tesla will make a lower lows. It's possible. I don't think it currently will. I mean, I hope it doesn't, because that'll be pretty bearish if it does, in my opinion. But I would not be surprised to see the market come, retrace a little bit sometime early next week. That really wouldn't surprise me, which of course will destroy Tesla's bullish pattern that we just talked about on the 30-minute chart. That is still a possibility. So there's a lot of possibilities, right? The issue right now is we're entering some pretty, the market is kind of confusing right now, right? It really feels pretty coin flippy right now, right? It can go either way, honestly. So we're trying to just figure out what's the more plausible way. But again, with these signs that I just talked about, right, on SPY and QQQ, where we're just doing this, bear flag on just very, very, just so blatantly obvious decreasing volume, it's hard to look at this and not kind of, raise some eyebrows, at least in my opinion, right? And again, Tesla's doing the exact same thing, massive fall, and now it's kind of, it's not really doing a bear flag, maybe like a bear pennant, if you really want to think about it that way, I don't know, but also on declining volume. So if Tesla were to fall, if we were to head our way even lower and Tesla were to make a lower low, I'd expect it to be a sharp drop. I'd expect this drop to be pretty fast, pretty sharp, pretty much around the same lows that Tesla was already at, around 180, if not even potentially slightly breaching it. But I'd expect this to be bought up pretty quickly. And, if that actually does happen, I'd expect the reversal to be pretty quick as well. But don't forget, Tesla still has some concerns regarding this trend line, right? This is a trend line that Tesla did break, right? Don't forget, back when we were still in the 140s, we ended up having this massive bounce, came back down, bounced off of this area again, consolidated ever so slightly, almost like a small little bull flag here, right? And then we continued up substantially higher, right? But the point is that this created a trend line. And what is this trend line showing? Well, ideally, we were supposed to hold it, but now we're coming up into this trend line and we're just consistently getting rejected, right? That's kind of concerning. Like, I don't like to see that, even though stochastic on the daily is bullish and it looks like it wants to start turning and, getting some momentum back into the bullish favor. Again, at the very least, I'd want to see 201, 202 break for this potential inverted head and shoulders pattern I talked about. But really, at least I want to see like 203, 204 break. I really want to see that break and hold, because then that can also bring us back into, this trend line, back above it, which would be pretty, reassuring to say the least, right? That's just the way I'm looking at it, right? Again, I could be completely wrong, but that's just how I'm personally looking at it as of right now. One thing that's also concerning is this. As I go over to Blackbox, which is a great options platform, same with Cheddarflow, also great. I have a link to both of them below if you want to check them out with the discount. So definitely check it if you're interested. But as I go over to Blackbox over here to take a quick look at QQQ. We're at QQQ. We're at QQQ for a reason. There's a very good reason I'm looking at QQQ right now. It's going to be this one right here, right? So there was pretty much almost 5 million worth of puts that came in on QQQ, right? Around 2 p.m. Eastern. It was when QQQ was pretty much sitting at 451. Currently, QQQ is at 450. So pretty much $1 lower than where they entered this. I haven't seen any closure around this. I'm assuming these are still active and they're still holding this. I haven't seen any closures, at least from what I've seen. I could be wrong also, but I haven't seen it. So I'm assuming they're still holding this. But the reason I bring it up is because, again, it's above the ask, showing some urgency. Pretty much close to 5 million inputs, which is a lot. But the thing that's the most eyebrow raising, the thing that's the most intriguing is the expiration date, 8/12/24. What day is that? Well, if we bring out our handy dandy calendar, that's Monday. They bought essentially near 5 million above the ask puts on a QQQ, strike of 453. So it is slightly in the money, right? Probably, I guess to get some form of safety. But the fact that they're entering this on an expiration date of Monday is insane to me. Like, that's crazy. So what this means to me is they probably expect something to happen over the weekend and some massive gap down on Monday. That's the only thing I can potentially think of. I don't see any other possible reason that they can enter such a position like this. It's pretty damn insane. Because if they're wrong, this money is going to evaporate very quickly. Like, if QQ rallies on Monday, good luck. You just lost, I don't even want to think about how much money, but a lot of money pretty damn quickly as well. So it's a very high risk trade. So this is definitely eyebrow raising. So we'll see if something happens over the weekend, if there's a massive gap down in the markets, because if there is, they will absolutely print. But if there isn't, they will absolutely lose quite a lot of money very damn quickly. So we'll see how this plays out. But this is eyebrow raising, right? This is raising some concerns moving into Monday. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. Is there some tensions maybe with, the whole Israel, tensions over there happening right now? Is there something with that happen? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's concerning. I thought I'd bring that up as well, right? So the bearish thesis, like I said, this can still play out. We pretty much have another inside day candle, right? We ever so slightly broke yesterday's high, but it was like barely. So, you can almost argue this is another inside day candle. So essentially, again, what you really want to see, similar to that inverted head and shoulders pattern, at the very least, a break of about 201 to 202, break above this little range that we've been kind of stuck in for a bit. Ideally, in my opinion, above 203, 204, even more convincing. So if we break those, I think this pattern will, not really a pattern, but candle pattern, I guess, will activate, most likely make our way back up to about 215. And that will be my main price target for Tesla short term, early as next week, if we do break above 204. Otherwise, watch out. If we break below 195 and especially below 191.5 roughly, that's pretty bearish. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think down below. And as usual, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.